Good day, class. Thank you very much for listening on this video. So for today, we're going to discuss about eco-literacy. So in the country like us, the Philippines, we all know that we are rich, diba, sa ating natural resources, sa ating biodiversity. But still, we cannot deny the fact that we are really vulnerable sa natural disasters and even to human-made disasters. So malaking issue dyan yung deforestation, yung pag-convert ng mga palayan into subdivision, and of course, and many more. And of course, this topic for today na eco-literacy and ecological literacy are frameworks that aim to equip students with knowledge, skill, attitude, and values needed to live sustainably and take action for the environment. So, this type of literacy is being implemented and enacted sa ating mga educational institution. Now, let's define eco-literacy. So, eco-literacy, a term popularized by Fritjof Capra and David Orr on 1990. So, it refers to the understanding of principles and organization of ecological communities and the ability to apply these principles to create sustainable human communities. So, it's just technically the application, di ba, ng nalalaman mo, principles, and of course, yung mga relationship between yung mga ecological communities na yun. That is eco-literacy. Kasi minsan kasi napagkapalit ba yung idea ng eco-literacy and of course, ecological literacy. So, it encompasses systems thinking, sustainability, ecological awareness, and ethical responsibility. However, on the other hand, ecological literacy, ayan, often used interchangeably with eco-literacy, specifically emphasizes the foundational scientific understanding of ecological system. It involves knowledge on how system works, including energy flow, nutrient cycles, and biodiversity. So technically, it's just a general knowledge, di ba? Yung parang general na pagkakaalam, pagkakaintindi, o knowledge technically ng isang tao about diversity and of course the ecosystem. So ulitin ko po, pag eco-literacy, ito yung pag-apply ng mga principles ng mga principles ng eco-literacy, 'di ba? In human communities. However, on the ecological literacy, ito yung knowledge itself, okay? So, why eco-literacy matters? Eco-literacy plays a vital role in transforming education to address environmental challenges. It promotes holistic, system-based learning that encourages students to see the connections between ecological, social, and economic system. Eco-literacy supports the achievement of the United Nations Sustainable Developmental Goals o yung tinatawag nating SDGs, particularly in DG 13, Climate Action, and SDG 15, Life on Land. It cultivates critical thinking skills, empathy, and collaborative problem-solving skills that are essential for navigating and solving today's environmental crisis. So, of course, no, hindi lamang po tayo, hindi lamang po ikaw, hindi lamang ako ang nakikinabang sa ating environment, sa ating kalikasan, pati na rin ang mas nakararami, diba? That's why, as community, should work as one, collaboratively think, di ba? Solve the problem sa ating environment. So, yan. These are the SDG, diba? Once again, itong nasa baba to, madalas kasama po si Life Below Water na. So, from 13 to 15, to 15 yan po yung ini-aim o goal ng ating eco-literacy. So, let's now go to the key components of eco-literacy. No? First is system thinking. Encourages students to understand the interconnectedness of life and how changes in one part of the system affect the whole. So, let me give an example, no? So, for example, meron kang isang parasite, isang uri ng parasite doon sa lugar ninyo, doon sa river, di ba? Yung parasite na to, nakakasira siya ng tawag dito, ng mga crops mo, sa tabing dagat, sa tabing ilog, mga ganon. So, what you did is that, bigla ka nagtapon ng fish sa river na yon. That fish is alien o iba, hindi siya doon nakatira. Alien siya sa lugar na yon. Since alien siya, tapos wala pa siyang predator, Diba? Wala pa siyang predator na pwedeng kumain sa kanya. What will happen is that magiging invasive si fish. That's why, in ecoliteracy, tinuturo sa dito is that kung paano dapat nababalance yung ating system sa ating ecological. Now, class, of course, pag may isang nabago, isang nadagdag, isang natanggal sa interconnected na link na yan, 'di ba? Ng isang community, so of course, meron siyang apekto sa iba. Kagaya ng example ko, 'di ba? Ang mangyayari niyan pa naging invasive yung isda na 'yon. So, ang tendency niya, mas lalo pa siyang makasira dun sa mga crops mo sa tabing ilog. Okay? Next is sustainable living. Emphasizes everyday choice that minimize environmental impact and promote long-term ecological balance. Next, sense of place. Fosters an appreciation for understanding of local environment, cultures, and history. Of course, so since dito tayo nakatira sa mga lugar natin, sa ating provinces, kailangan nating mahalin yung ating kalikasan. Well, next is emotional intelligence. Uy, bakit pumasok si emotional intelligence? So, it builds empathy and ethical concern for other living beings and planet. Tandaan nyo, class, na sa isang kalikasan, hindi lamang po si human being ang nakikinabang doon sa ating kalikasan na yon. Kabilang dito yung ating mga hayop at halaman. Etong si ecoliteracy, nagpo-promote siya ng sympathy and empathy para dun sa mga hayop na yon. Okay? So, of course, kailangan natin silang bigyan din ng pansin. Next is action-oriented learning, involves hands-on projects and real-world experiences that empower students to take environmental action. But this one is just like a hands-on, mga hands-on project, outreach, mga activities, yung magtatanim kayo. So, I believe, di ba, kasi nung elementary ako, ginagawa namin yung is that nagtatanim po ng papaya, nagtatanim kami ng okra sa mga garden namin. And of course, ang tendency nun, kung ano man yung maani namin doon na papaya, na mga okra, na mga gulay, hindi yung ginagamit namin para sa aming mga feeding programs. And of course, mga binibenta na rin yung school technically sa labas, para meron silang onting pagkakitaan. Next, the Philippine ecoliteracy. Dito po tayo sa estado ng ecoliteracy sa Pilipinas. The Philippines is home to more than 52,000 species of flora and fauna. Many fish are endemic o sa Pilipinas lamang makikita. However, the country faces significant ecological threats, including deforestation, marine pollution, and habitat loss. So, tuwing nag-expand po kasi tuwing nag-urbanize po ang ating mga lugar sa Pilipinas, ang laki ng epekto nito sa ating ecological, diba, sa ating ecology. Now, of course, it's one of the most disaster-prone countries in the world, being, syempre, malapit tayo sa Pacific Ring of Fire, diba? Meron, lagi tayong tatamaan ng bagyo. Even that bagyo itself, kaya po niya apektuhan ang ating ecological system. Frequently experiencing typhoon, earthquake, and floods, these realities make the integration of ecoliteracy into Philippine education both urgent and essential. By fostering a generation of environmentally conscious citizens, the country can build resilience, promote conservation, and contribute to the global sustainability efforts. So next, protecting our ecosystem. Now, so there are actually several initiatives na sa ginagawa sa ating Pilipinas. Specifically, nagmumula ito sa ating school, sa ating educational institutions. First is yung tatawag nating Basura Buster programs. Hindi na nag-loading yung pictures, no? Try natin. Ayan, sorry for that. So, on the DENR Basura Buster program, teaches waste segregation and recycling to young students using digital and physical learning program. So, kung familiar ka sa Ghostbuster, no, ganito lang siya actually. So, kinuha lang yung idea na it's just that instead of ghost, yung inuhuli, yung mga basura yung kinukuha natin. So, they use the online platform, diba? And of course, yung pupunta sila sa mga lugar, barangay, para magturo sa mga kabataan kung paano mag-segregate ng mga basura. Next is EcoSchool Philippines. EcoSchool Philippines, aligned with the global EcoSchools framework, support schools in adopting environmentally sustainable practices through waste management, energy conservation, and biodiversity project. Ito po yung 7 steps na tinatawag nila sa may Eco Philippines na. First is forming a committee, di ba? Isang grupo, organization sa loob ng isang school in which they are responsible for taking care of the estado ng kalinisan ng school na yon. Conduct an environmental review, develop an action plan, di ba? Pag nakita sila ng problem, yung problem na to, magbubuo sila ng action plan. Monitor and evaluate, syempre ina-apply ng lesson plan na yung action plan rather, apply it in a curriculum. So paano siya? Meron tayong mga example mamaya kung paano ina-apply itong mga action plan na to, itong mga action plan for the environment sa ating school sa iba't ibang field ng curriculum. Next, informing and involving, and lastly, the Eco Code o yung mga madalas na mga utos, mga memorandum, kagaya for example ngayon sa school, di ba? The single-use plastic ban, di ba yun? Next is the urban gardening projects. Urban gardening project in school across Quezon City, Cebu, and other areas help students understand food system, nutrition, and ecological cycles. Etong si urban gardening projects naman po, syempre of course, nagagawa po siya sa mga urban cities, sa Manila, something like that. Yung tinatanim nila, hindi siya madalas bulaklak, yung pang-display, mga santan, bougainvillea, at tatanim nila madalas yung nakakonsume na kakain. Talong, okra, upo, malunggay, papaya. So, of course, malaking tulong din yon para ma-resolvehan yung nutrient deficiency sa mga bata sa Manila, 'di ba? And since yung mga pagkain ay tumutubo lamang, 'di ba? Araw-araw siya may tubo, araw-araw may bunga, of course, araw-araw din may pagkain yung mga community malapit doon sa urban gardening project. Next, indigenous knowledge system. Importante ito, class, of course. Remember that our indigenous people, mga IPs natin, 'di ba? Yung knowledge nila sa pagtatanim at pangangalaga ng kalikasan nagmula pa sa kanilang mga ninuno, and they maintained it, yung knowledge na yun, up until now. So this knowledge system is important for us to understand and have a more sustainable na environment. For example, yung rice terracing, yung pagbabahagdan ng isang taniman ng palay, 'di ba? Yung idea na yon, ancient na siya, 'di ba? And syempre, yung tubig dumadali lang sa taas, bababa, 'di ba? So very efficient siya mag ng tubig without using any electricity, 'di ba? We can use those ideas, those knowledge from the past para gamitin natin sa ngayon. So, mano nyo meron kang idea o knowledge from the past class, 'di ba? Na pwedeng i-apply para pangalagaan ng ating mga tawag dito ng ating mga kalikasan. Next, ayan, so the forest stewardship in Dumagat offer valuable lessons, sustainable resource management rooted to cultural traditions. Next, ito na sabi ko kanina, no, yung curriculum integration in the Philippines. So, paano po na-integrate yung mga projects na ito, yung mga environmental plan na to sa ating curriculum. So, environmental education is embedded in the Philippine Basic Education Curriculum. The Department of Education has issued DepEd Order Number 52 Series of 2011, which mandates the strengthening of environmental education across learning areas, such as applying it sa iba't ibang learning areas. Now, for example, for science, diba? Lessons on ecosystem, climate change, pollution, and conservation are introduced from elementary, senior, high school levels, diba? So, kung mga elementary kayo, meron mga pa-project sila ma'am sir ninyo na magpapatanim ng munggo. Tapos, yun na yun, project nyo, papatubuin nyo yun, lalagay nila sa school. Or magpapatanim si ma'am sir sa may garden ninyo. Aside pang patanim, aralin nyo kung paano nabubuhay, paano tumutubo. 'Di ba? Itong halaman to, is it a dicot, is it a monocot? So aside from learning what type of plant you're trying to raise, you're actually raising the plant itself talaga. Parang mas nakatulong ka pa rin kahit papaano para sa ating environment. Next is si Araling Panlipunan, si AP, addresses the socio-political aspects of environmental issues such as disaster risk reduction and resource management. And lastly, edukasyon sa pagpapakatao o yung mga values education, reinforces the value of care, responsibility, and environmental stewardship. Once again, ulit-ulit ko sa inyo, hindi lamang si human yung nanginginabang sa ating kalikasan. Kabilang dito, class, yung ating mga hayop. Diba? And other living organisms sa maliliit na dinikita ng ating mga mata naked. So yan. In addition, schools are encouraged to incorporate ecological STEAM in extra and co-curricular activities such as cleanup drives and environmental clubs in observance to Earth Day, which is April 22nd, and Environmental Month on June. So, tandaan niyo pa yung dates na yan, ha? These are the classroom activities and strategies that you can apply, class. So, for example, ayan, si project-based learning. So, students engage in real-world problems like school waste audits, energy-saving campaigns, and eco-break production. So, kabilang dyan, class, yung mga research paper ninyo. Hindi lang siya basta-basta research paper. Kailangan meron kayong mapo-produce na isang bagay o na isang technology, sorry. Next is outdoor education, nature walks, field trips, and biodiversity mapping help students to connect with their local environments. Creative integration using storytelling, poetry, visual arts, or drama to express environmental themes. STEM connections, lesson on carbon footprint, renewable energy, and water cycles linked to the science and mathematics. And next, cross-cultural approaches, discussing ecological themes in English, reading like eco-literature, math, analyzing data on pollution. Ayan, diba? And of course, for example, mine-measure nyo yung growth ng isang plant depending sa kung nilagay mo dyan na mga fertilizer. Pwede rin po yun. And mape, eco, dance, and music. So, however, of course, there are some challenges and opportunities na pwedeng makita while applying this eco-literacy sa ating curriculum. The first challenges is that teachers may lack specialists in training in environmental education. Especially pag si teacher nagaling po siya sa mga urban na places, 'di ba? Parang mahirapan, parang kailangan niya po mag-train kung paano niya po i-apply itong idea na to for taking care, 'di ba? Ang environment. For example, si teacher ay mape, di ba? Paano gagawin ni teacher sa dance? So, magkakaroon ka ng ecological dance, ganon. Mga ganun mga bagay. So, mag-isip talaga kayo, be creative. So, learning resources tailored to the local context are limited. Competing academic requirements make integration difficult. Opportunities, partnership with NGOs such as Haribon Foundation and WWF Philippines offer training materials and project support. Technology integration enables digital simulations, environmental apps, and visual learning. Community involvement provides real-life context and support for the student initiatives. So, us, bilang isang mga guro, di ba, we should really take action na po ngayon, especially, of course, ang ating climate change pa sumalala. Pansin nyo ba, nung nag-aaral ako ng college, no, yung init, di naman ganito pumapalo, dire-diretso yung pasok namin, di ba? So, actually, pagkakaalam ko, pangalawang semester na to, na halos isang buong buwan walang pasok because of the really high temperature, high humidity. So, of course, hindi lang si high humidity kasi hindi siya natural occurring madalas. Madalas din po siya naapektuhan ng human intervention. For example, unti-unting pagbawas natin mga puno, ng ating mga halaman, deforestation, and tumataas na CFC natin, di ba? Yung ating carbon monoxide tumataas sa ating kalangitan. And of course, we need to educate our students on how to lessen our carbon footprints. Paano maging responsible sa ating environment o paano maging steward ng ating environment. And I hope that you understood everything on our lesson for today. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great day.